Welcome to 2 on the 10.
Oh, we're back again. 2 on the 10. How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Good. I'm Paul.
I'm Mitch.
Greedy Nick.
Greedy.
Yeah. Episode 14 coming right back at you. We got our first sponsor, huh?
Yeah.
Our sponsor.
Yeah. 2C Energy Drink is our first sponsor. Shout out to 2C.
Delicious.
I like the name.
Yeah. But what? Ghost is out the window for you?
Yeah. I was working. I guess that solo deal I had with Ghost is gonna go out the window. I still got a couple cans of Bubblicious strawberry though.
There you go. But shout out to 2C Energy Drink for sponsoring this episode. But hey, let's get into it. Do you hear about the crazy stuff that's going on in Vegas? Man, aliens falling out of the sky. In people's backyards. Was it 6-7 foot tall men coming out?
No, they were 8 to 10 feet tall.
8 to 10 feet.
That sounds like y'all talking about Pirates of the Caribbean.
Coming out of people.
I mean, I've seen a lot of crazy looking people in Vegas, but none of them ever 8 to 10 feet tall.
Exactly. I thought it was just, another Vegas homeless man wandered in somebody's backyard and mistaken them for him. But no, I mean, I guess the police officers actually saw a light come from the sky. 911 calls were made, stuff like that. Greedy, you got anything?
Yeah, it's just crazy. Just a guy who's a younger kid who was in his backyard working on his car, and something crashed or landed in his backyard. And I guess there's video from like Ring cameras and different things of the light coming down. And he said that there was, 2 beings. Both of them were like between 8 and 10 feet tall, big eyes, big heads, and just standing there kind of staring at him. And called the police, and there's some video of him like and his family like with guns drawn going into their backyard and getting freaked out and running back out. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't maybe they're here, maybe they're finally here.
What you say? You said a big head. Yeah.
I knew.
And a big eyes.
Was Mitch standing on a box in the backyard? He got drunk and landed.
It sounded like Titano was wanted in somebody's backyard. It sounded like one of them drunken Vegas nights mistaken you. Come on, come clean. Is that what happened?
Nope. No. I see I'm getting ambushed right now, huh?
Can't confirm or deny on that one. Nah, man. So, aliens is a kind of a weird topic for me.
You dated a couple?
Well, girls back in the day, maybe, yeah, they were a little alien looking. But no, real talk is, I make no secret about it. I'm a Christian, if you want to get down to them, Baptist, Southern Baptist.
Our ratings just went down.
But, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. It's hard for me.
We just lost YouTube.
It's hard for me to really believe in aliens. I think it's a manifestation of the devil kind of trying to discredit God. So that's kind of my belief on aliens and different sightings that we see right now.
Well, can I start with this on that topic? Mm-hmm. So if you believe in a God and you believe in, God created the earth and the heavens, are we naive to think that maybe God didn't create other life on other planets?
I get it, but...
Well, let me jump in too real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Because here's where you're opening a can of worms.
Okay.
In my opinion. Usually it seems like there's this narrative of it's either you believe in aliens or you believe that the aliens are fallen angels. Mm-hmm. So my question would be, and I know where you're going with this too, Nick, my question would be, if you believe, that, the fallen angels or whatever, you believe, mm-hmm. Do you believe the earth is flat then? Because that's...
Well, I mean...
That's kind of where...
Okay, so where are you getting the correlation between the earth is flat and the falling angels?
Because typically the argument is that you have all these other planets on the galaxy, and how could there be no other life forms? That's, typically what that argument is. It's like, if you think that there are 9 planets in just our galaxy and our solar system, and then there's thousands and thousands of other solar systems and other
Infinite
galaxies.
galaxy.
Yeah, infinite,
galaxies, infinite amount of space.
Then we're the only people that are that special to live on this one planet in these galaxies with all these planets and, and different solar systems,
I would, my rebuttal to that is, I think it would have been documented over, thousands of years of, why is it all of a sudden now that, we have Roswell and stuff like that, and, people are talking about that, and weather balloons and stuff like that, but why is it now that we're getting all of a sudden, these aliens now visiting?
Well, if you look at some of like the hieroglyphics of ancient Egyptians, some of the stuff that they've drawn in represented in their drawings look like aliens and beings from outer space.
And other of it look like Pornhub.
Sure. But it's you say that they haven't been represented. Hundreds of thousands of years we knew nothing about microorganisms until we created the technology that we could actually see them finally with microscopes and things to know that now there's.
How does your girlfriend like that?
She loves it. She can actually find it now, so that's great for her and great for me, obviously.
I shoot back.
So, but yeah, we didn't know that there was, tiny microorganisms crawling all over us and inside of us until, until the technology came around that we could actually see them. So,
I just think,
and I don't necessarily disagree with you. But that is the can of worms you opened up.
No, and I hear you, and and like I said, I'm only going off, the Bible. I would think, we would have documentation.
Well, technically we do. Genesis 3:15, documentation of the fallen angels that come down. Here's the thing, and we know there's science, there's history, there's
So you're saying the aliens are fallen angels, technically?
I tend to believe that. I tend to believe that.
So I can kind of get into that because, like I said, I don't think they, and that's a possibility. And
we're talking about the Nephilim, the Anunnaki.
I just don't think they are different life forms, that are coming from, far galaxies away and stuff like that. I just truly believe if they're fallen angels, then, they're falling to earth. And the reason why we can't find them is, maybe they go to hell or,
maybe they live among us.
Yeah,
maybe
too.
They're waiting for CERN to dig them out, which CERN said that's what they're trying to do.
Right. So it kind of feeds into what I'm saying is like, I don't think they're coming from outer space. Maybe they're.
Let me ask you this question, Paul: do you believe that the universe is infinite, goes on forever, or as far as we can tell?
As far as we can tell right now.
Every time we get a stronger telescope, we find that there's more universe out there.
More universe out there.
So in all that infinite space, you don't think there's a possibility that there's some other type of life form, whether it's smart or smarter than us, not smarter than us, whatever, it can exist.
I think we would have already found it by now. I think.
We still find new species on Earth, and we've been on Earth since the beginning of human existence.
Yeah,
we still discover new species living on Earth that have been here the whole time.
But they're not human species.
Well, I'm not saying so, but extraterrestrials may not be human in the sense they may be some other life form or creature.
I got you. It just, I don't know, for something that
we're talking human. You're talking mammal. And, they're talking a correlation between man and, if you believe in evolution or you don't believe in evolution. There are animals that are similar to man that are, and women that are.
We came from monkeys, and then there's still monkeys, right?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Well,
I'm not saying we did, but I'm just saying.
That's another story. That's another topic in itself is like.
And then that's how we got AIDS with monkeys, right?
Do you really believe that we came from monkeys? I
don't believe that.
I don't believe that.
There are species that are similar to humans that have some similar traits.
That, yeah.
So what's to say that there's not an offshoot? Or let's just say this: what if there was humans that lived on Earth many thousands of years ago that were so much more advanced than anything that we could ever comprehend, and they left to go explore other universes?
And now they're coming back.
And maybe now they're coming back. and we don't know about him because the people that didn't go were the ones that weren't smart enough.
Wasn't that Lost in Space?
There might have been a movie about it or something. Hey,
Or
Spielberg.
Star Trek?
Spielberg, Greedy Nick, look me up. I got a good movie idea for you.
I just, like I said, I just go back to the fact is I believe what I can see, and yes, we have these sightings just like, Roswell, just like, this latest Vegas sighting, but I still believe, this is the devil at work trying to discredit God. Because what's the greatest trick the devil ever did?
Let me ask you this.
Is to convince man he doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Of course.
But here's so you just said you only believe in things that you can see.
Well, no, I'm saying as far as, so religion, you got to say, religion is faith, right?
Yeah.
It's what you go on, what you believe. Things have happened in my life that can only be explained by God. You know what I'm saying? Can only be explained by prayer, God, and everything.
I agree with you there. And I have many of them that cannot be explained by science,
Exactly. So when, and I know what you're going at is because I can't see God.
Yeah. And trust me, I believe in God. Here's the thing. I'm not saying that any one religion is correct because I think religion is man-made, but I do believe that there's a higher power that had to create all this. It's not just happenstance. We didn't just come from like a single cell and then advance to where we're at now. It just the math behind that and the history and the evidence behind it doesn't support that.
Right.
So something had to create us.
Exactly. On the seventh day, they said, Greedy Nick, let him have glasses.
Yeah.
So
on the seventh day, hopefully they let me win a bet.
You've been struggling as of late.
Former NBA ref Tim Donaghy, he's got that right.
Yeah, I'll have a little something to say about Tim on my thought of the day. Don't worry about that.
Check out on the clip. Worst better ever. Shout out to Greedy Nick.
He came at you, man. But kind of going back to what you said about earlier about the flat Earth thing.
I just know that that's the can of worms. If you say, in my opinion, if you say aliens don't exist on different planets, you're going to get a lot of people upset. You're going to get the sci-fi people, the anime people, the Star Wars people, the Star Trek people, the ET people, a lot of different people, like whatever they are, they're going to be upset. Also on top of that,
I don't understand the flat Earth theory because, okay, if it's
and I'm not saying it's fully that way, but the next argument, which I knew Nick was going to go to, because that's what it is there's these planets, there's other galaxies, there's infinite galaxies, and we're the only people that live on this one planet out of all these planets, in all these galaxies. And again, that's just the thought, and it could be the case. But you're going to be, in my opinion, you're going to be the minority in the room on that argument, which doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. If you believe what you believe, you have your backgrounds to back it. So, and we're here to kind of talk, discuss, debate, and and kind of and go from there.
So I'm gonna ask you this: are you a flat Earth theorist?
I am open to it, definitely.
You're open to it.
I'm definitely open to it. I'm definitely open to it.
I will say this too.
Yeah.
The more that I think about things and I watch videos and just see other people's explanations of stuff, it makes me think that there's something to that. There's something that just doesn't seem right about we're going all these millions of miles and or hundreds of thousands of miles an hour and spinning and water and it's just gravity keeps going.
Here's the craziest thing to me. So we'd rather believe a narrative that we went to the moon but we lost the technology.
Yeah.
So we really believe that. We went to the moon, but we lost it. Well, that's what they said, so that's what people say, right? So we'd rather believe that. We'd rather believe that Neil Armstrong got on the moon and he made a call on a rotary phone to Nixon and they talked, right?
And they drove a car on the moon too.
Yeah, exactly.
They played golf.
Yeah.
So here, but okay. So I'm going to play into it a little bit. So if you're saying the Earth is flat, it has to be a drop off, correct?
Well,
at some point, we got to drop off. We got to.
But we're not allowed. We're not allowed to go there. We're not allowed to go there. Like if you look at Antarctica, we're not allowed there. We're legally not allowed.
So you're saying the only flat part of the world is Antarctica?
I'm saying the edges.
The edges.
But what's on the outside of the edges, though, is what I always wondered.
Yeah,
That's the whole
exactly.
thing. Does that keep going on? Is there other civilizations?
Well, there's.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, do we go off the edge and then we float off into space?
How about this? Have you seen an old map before?
An old map?
Yeah, like an old map from the 1400s, 1500s.
Well, because I mean,
No, I'm just saying.
I mean, back in the day,
Not even
we
funny.
didn't have like telescopes, and we didn't have spaceships and stuff that go up and actually look down at the Earth. Is when we sail ships out, it looked like the horizon was the cutoff, and as they realized, they kept going and going and going. It was endless. Because it's.
Well, the one thing for me that I've learned is with the advancements in like photography technology, where you can take pictures and you can see things with, telescopic lenses for miles and miles away, and supposedly you should start to see the curvature of the Earth, and they don't see it. They don't see like they could be on a flat part and look 5 miles down and still see.
Let me add this real quick. I'm going to counterpoint my own argument because I'm going to show that I'm always trying to process information.
Right.
I'm not one of these persons that sits there and goes, this is what it is, I'm right, you're wrong, even though that's how I feel. But no, but seriously, I'm always open to more information.
Okay.
So one of my boys, definitely, big time military guy, big time military shooter, sniper, so I talk to him about stuff. He tells me in shooting a high powered rifle, we're talking the, $300 bullets, that can go, a couple miles. He has to adjust for not only just the wind, but the Earth's curve. So I have to take that into consideration. Okay. I definitely have to take that because he's going to hit something 2 miles away. And he has told me specifically, in discussions of what he preps for on that and, how he sets it up to hit something 1 mile, 2 miles away. And so I have to take that into account. So that is one thing. Now, there's definitely different pilots interviews around the world. Are we going to, it's no different than almost, when COVID happened. It's like, we're going to believe these doctors, we're not going to believe these doctors. Again, people can be wrong, human nature, predeterminations, all this different stuff. But, at the end of the day, there's a lot of history. Are we believing the history books, which we know are altered? Could the Bible be altered? That's a touchy subject. Look, in this whole thing, the book of Enoch, which was, if I'm not mistaken, that was Noah's grandfather was Enoch.
Right.
It's like it was supposed to be in the Bible, but it wasn't in the Bible. I try and search that and read that book to see what they're trying to keep out or what they're hiding or, what it is. Right. And other than a few word changes, it's pretty similar to Genesis as far as when they describe, the fallen angels coming down, and I know we're jumping subjects here and there, but it's just very interesting because the fallen angels supposedly came down, Lucifer and all of them. They fell in love with the beauty of the earth humans, whatever, fornicated with them and had kids.
Right.
Those kids are supposed to be the Nephilim. That's supposed to be the giants, etc.
Yeah. Right.
The flood was supposed to happen because God was pissed off, and he was supposed to banish everybody, put them to the center of the earth or down to hell or whatever else, whatever. And you start, and basically those giants that somehow survived or maybe broke through are in caves hiding, et cetera, et cetera. Look into even the stories. There's even rumors. The real reasons we went into Afghanistan was to go find Nephilim. Weren't you one of the people that believes that or said that before, Nick?
No, I didn't say that.
Nick, like, no, I thought that would be on record to say.
I actually thought we had that conversation, but no. There's actually some stories, and it's so interesting. And it's not just TikTok, but it's interesting that TikTok is the form that brings all these out. Now you got to do your own research. You got to look this stuff up. You got to check everything out. But it's very interesting. I'll read the comments. And don't get me wrong, the comments are crazy people.
I love TikTok because they have the most informative stuff, and then they have some
crazy stuff, and the funniest stuff, and the
crazy stuff like that.
Tedious stuff too.
One thing, very off subject.
Yeah.
Speaking of TikTok, if you ever go on there, go on TikTok and learn how to wash strawberries. I'm telling you, do this.
Oh, where the worms and the bugs
the
crawl out of
bugs will come out of. If you use apple cider vinegar and baking soda, bugs will come out of your strawberries. You will never look at strawberries ever again, and you will have to wash them that way.
Well, in that case, also make sure that you drink a lot of coconut water because coconut water kills parasites and worms.
Oh, okay. There you go. Last thing about, and then we'll move on from this.
And I got one more thing after this too.
Yeah. So Jeff Bezos, right? He, he was one of the guys. The spaceship.
Him and the dude with the other island, similar to Epstein's.
Yeah.
The dude from Virgin Records, which is kind of interesting. His company's called Virgin.
But
anyway,
but I mean, but they went up
they
and
shot the missiles. Yeah,
they shot up.
But did you see? Did you see?
But they went up in space.
Did you see? But did you see the missiles slide?
slide?
Yeah, when they supposedly started to curve. I tried to find the videos. I saw it because people pointed it out. It looks, and I can say this because I saw it, but I can't find the videos now. It looks like it hits something and slides.
Huh? I didn't see that.
And here's okay. We're going to talk
Firmament.
the firmament, which for those people who don't know, look it up. Come up with your own opinions. As is above is below. That's in the Bible. Hillary Clinton has said on 3 different occasions, we've almost cracked the ceiling. We're going to break through that glass, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just very interesting those phrases she says at those times with the faces she makes. Whatever. I know that could be totally conspiracy. It could be totally coincidence. You decide. Yeah. But with that said, the firmament. You could look at Walt Disney's logos. It looks like the tower. Their Disney Tower, which is, from what I've read before, is supposed to be the Tower of Babel, which they try to build to the top to break through the firmament.
Right.
Which, if you look at the Disney logo, there's the top, and the Tower of Babel breaks through the top. Okay. So again, just very interesting perspectives on a bunch of that stuff. But I mean, so you're bringing up those
I'm saying missiles.
Rockets.
Yeah. And they came down and they saw the Earth was round. I'm just saying, if you go back and look. Trust me, if Bezos went up and said, he'd look down and said, damn, the earth is flat, he'd be the first one that says.
Oh, he would? Would he be the first one to pay his taxes?
Taxes? What are those?
Bezos plays.
He's an honest guy.
That dude is my hero now.
I mean, he gets where he gets, so then, hey, maybe one day you'll get there and you have to make your compromises to get to that position.
Hey, Illuminati, come see me, baby. I'm ready. But anyway.
They're going to use that God tape against you.
But now, what were you?
No, all I was going to say was, there is a video that I have seen and shown a few different people that tripped out on it, where the rocket goes up, and you say that it starts going over, but it looks like it hits something and slides.
Okay.
And I mean,
so that's a firmament. I got to look at it.
Here's another thing. Why are we sending up these? First of all, why are private investors sending up rockets? What's their interest in sending up rockets?
I think they're bored. I mean, here's the thing: is once you get to a point, is you're making so much money in the world. What's the next thing to do? Is like
maybe pay taxes, help people that are needy, but no. Let's just buy rockets and shoot them up to the sky.
Exactly, because they want to do something that no man or no woman has ever done.
Still to this day, maybe go to the moon.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Go to the moon again because we forgot how.
And I just want to say, how come NASA makes all these videos of like these people in space, and you can see like all the CGI that
or the green screen,
the green screens, or the cables that the harnesses that people are hooked up to, like they're grabbing the harness and you can see the guy get pulled back. I'm like, so if they're not really in space and we haven't really gone to the moon, where the hell is all the money going?
Well,
that's what I want to know. Where's the money?
Are you saying the U.S. is the only ones not going? No. Because then it's got to. To feed in that, then you got to feed in conspiracy that the Russians, the Chinese, nobody.
Well, no one else has been to the moon.
All right, let's feed in conspiracy.
The Russians have.
Let's feed into conspiracy real quick. Are there people that control the money around the world that don't care about nationalities that could make money from all sides of wars?
Yeah.
Of course.
Is there only about 9 places that don't have a central banking system right now? And we always seem to be in conflict with those countries,
right?
And their dictators or their presidents are always the bad people that we have to replace and get out of. Again, just interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. And speaking of that, thank you for reminding me. And I'll just touch on this and then I'm done. But the subject's taking way too long, and we can never do it enough justice. It would have to be like an 18-part series on Netflix.
Right.
And Netflix, sign us up. But no. So just listen to one of these theories. Okay, God sends down his angels, right? They fornicate, just like they say in the history book, which is, which I believe this history book compared to the ones written by Lucifer Trust or Lucis Trust. They fornicate with the women. They have the giant babies.
Right.
Okay, so now you have the bloodline of the gods, right?
Okay.
In theory, now they may be kicked out gods or exiled, but they're supposedly, the even word is son of God.
Right.
So maybe that's the obsession with all these families. The 13 families and all this other stuff is they preserve their bloodlines because they think they are of the gods. And with that said, that gives them the right, because they're gods, to treat people like servants and peasants and slaves. Because they are gods, and in their mind, nobody else is. That's why they also have incest with their own families. That's why, they make sure they're a tight-knit of only certain people. And that's probably also even why they start buying up all the DNA sites to see who else has that bloodline.
Interesting.
I'll leave you there.
I'll never do a 23andMe or any of those. I'm not giving anybody my DNA.
Shit, I'm scared. I mean, I'm fixed now, but I'm scared to do the 23andMe. I might have like 18 motherfuckers running around. So
Paul Shields' bloodline's deeper than the Anunnaki bloodline.
So I'm leaving
You got
that.
the Rothsteins, the Shields.
I'm leaving that shit alone. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about another weird story. J.P. Morgan paying $290 million
For his ticket on the Titanic?
to Epstein victims. What in the world is going on here? Why is J.P. Morgan paying out $290 million to Epstein victims? What? Can anybody
I guess
explain
they said because of their relationship with Epstein over the years that he was supposedly trafficking, the victims. Under the terms of this agreement, they won't admit that they did anything wrong. They won't admit liability, but they will put out a statement regretting their association with Epstein. That's part of the terms of the agreement. So it's just kind of weird. This is the second bank now to come to a settlement with Epstein victims. The Deutsche Bank from Germany also reached a $75 million settlement with those same survivors and going to pay them out basically for the same thing for their involvement with Epstein.
So let's get this straight. They're getting paid out by these wealthy bank conglomerates, right?
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, that have ties with Epstein.
Right.
That make them sign these different, disclosures to not say this, that, and the other, right?
Hush money?
Okay, yeah. So you got Giselle Maxwell in jail. You have Epstein that killed himself. And no cameras were in the cell that day, okay.
Or guards, except for the ones.
And you have accusers, but you don't have clients of Epstein. And no one seems to care.
Right, but I'm still baffled.
Yeah, who is he trafficking all these girls to?
Yeah, I'm still baffled by these banks. Why are these banks? I mean, if it's Epstein and his girlfriend that are doing all these atrocities, right?
Yeah.
What does these banks have anything to do with this?
Probably the executives were all his clientele.
Hold on, that's like if I'm out
Allegedly.
I'm out there doing all this crazy stuff, right? And I bank with Bank of America, right? And I'm doing thousands of transactions with them. Are the people that I wrong going after Bank of America?
I mean,
It depends if the Bank of America executives are part of the plot.
That's what I'm getting at.
family-
It's like, what do they have on these executives? I mean, do we have manifests of them being on Epstein's island or some higher ups?
I mean, $290 million is.
That's
it's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money
not in the
for
scheme
those
of things.
banks. Yeah.
And plus, those banks make that funneling all the side money anyway off people.
And I'm sure part of it is they don't want to drag their name through a legal battle where things may come up about certain people that are associated with the bank.
Well, first of all, someone mentioned Bank of America. Let's just say hypothetically, just to protect. Hypothetically.
Yeah, right.
Hypothetically, there was a situation with Bank of America where they were, they were basically frauding people, right?
Right.
Okay. Hypothetically, they made like $2.something billion.
Okay.
Hypothetically, they got a slap on the wrist to pay $300 million in fines.
Right.
For all that, they paid those fines and they profited $1.7 billion.
Right.
These banks have the money. We basically paid for this shit.
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying what is the correlation between Epstein, his victims, and these banks?
I guess they're saying that his money was made profiting off of these victims, the trafficking of these victims.
Maybe it's also shutting down. Maybe it's shutting down the wire transfers of who the.
Yeah, and they didn't look into more where his money was going and what he was doing.
Like how about this? We go into a bank. Now remember it used to be $10,000. Before you put in your money, kept it under 10 grand. They weren't. Now it's if the teller sees you look this way and that way, they can report you, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, let's wire $150,000 to a bank account over here. Through these banks, and they keep getting those serious wires.
So you're saying it's J.P. Morgan's
I'm not saying that, but
responsibility to know what their clients are doing.
Well, actually, as far as my understanding is of what banks need to report, to a degree, yes, to a degree. When money changes hands, when money's getting wired,
Especially
yes.
the amount of money that he was moving around.
Yeah.
I mean, this cat on paper is a billionaire. So, I mean, what are you questioning?
But are we talking about no, let's be clear. We're talking about the person, which I mean, and it's an entity, really, because at this point, J.P. Morgan, I mean, this is a name that's been around. Like I said, he literally, from everything I've heard, was supposed to be on the Titanic and didn't show up that day.
Right.
But the other richest men in the world that opposed the Federal Reserve did, and they met their death, coincidentally, right? And then the Fed Reserve got passed, and then these guys, the Morgans and the Rothschilds, and all of them, are, and basically we can skip forward to today, and we see how the world is. Okay. I mean that's a quick history lesson, but it's interesting. And the same J.P. Morgan that took Tesla's inventions, which nobody really even knew about Tesla until the car now, which has nothing to do with Tesla. It's almost like a slap in the face. It's interesting. Two companies take this first name. One takes his first name. One takes his last name. But they have nothing to do with them other than they're using new technology now, which he had some of the most craziest inventions in the early 1900s, which J.P. Morgan bought, which was, I believe, cell phone technology, wireless radio. Heck, there's even, you can look it up. There's death rays. There was stuff that could stop people's hearts. He went and worked with a lot of Hitler Germany stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so people need to do real homework, but I know after the pandemic and stuff, they wiped out a lot of stuff, like a lot of records. But if you just look up Nikola Tesla and all the stuff he did, and look how much J.P. Morgan had to do about buying him out of some of his patents and his inventions and stuff, just suppressing it so people wouldn't have free energy, so they wouldn't have cell phones at the time.
Interesting. All right.
And they're saying they're expecting more than 100 women to seek compensation from this settlement. So you're talking, 2.9 million a person for their troubles.
Sounds like a bunch of hush money to me at this point.
That's what it sounds like.
It's like you're not going to get anywhere. No one's going to believe you. We're never going to expose who these people are. We can even leak the list, but people can just argue back and forth. Is this list real? Is this list not? But
So you're saying it's not them admitting fault or they did anything wrong. It's just, and I get it because I've been on that side. It's just easier to pay you to get you to go away. That way
pay you to legally lock it up
instead of paying the lawyers. Or something.
But here's the crazy part too. So the people in charge, if they know and they get the information, so they know who's on the list, they can turn around and blackmail the people on the list and get even more money, or be able to do what they want to do and get the political support that they need because they have all the dirt on the people that.
Well, first of all, we live in a time where, I hate to be there, political support, neither party is going to take down these people.
No.
Let's be honest. Neither party. It's
some of these people probably on the list are part of both of these.
Oh, of course, both parties.
Let's
both
be
parties.
real.
And we're going to sit here and wait for them to tell us who these are so we can get an opinion and react after the fact. Right. And then try and pay our bills next month. So it's like they got everybody checkmated, unfortunately, on this shit. It's like, it's crazy, man. No, I can't believe we're sitting there talking about, we got the victims, we got the traffickers, basically. I mean, if it was a drug case, you'd have to have everybody.
Right, exactly. That would be a RICO
who's
case.
buying the drugs?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Who are the distributors of the drugs? Yes. you got the supplier.
Yep.
Now who are the drug dealers?
Right.
You need the drug dealers to have the case.
Yeah, and then who was buying the drugs?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, I don't know. It just baffles me.
It really goes to show you what this world's about. I mean, people might want to, just keep running that in your head until you can't come up with any other solutions. And you might start thinking about adrenochrome and sacrifices and all this other stuff as maybe a possibility. Mm-hmm. Maybe a possibility in this world, considering how stupid this is, how stupid it looks.
Gotcha.
That we don't even have the accused.
Right. No, I got you.
Or that we don't have cameras that work in cells.
Hey, camera technology is not what it used to be.
Not what it used
when
to
they sent people to the moon. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Or telephone technology with the cord.
Y'all are wild. Speaking about being in trouble, Call of Duty's in a little bit of trouble. They're in the same kind of boat that Budweiser and Target right now. They're getting a little backlash right now, huh?
Yeah, I guess they had a couple of their streamers. This guy Nickmercs, he had I guess they said an insensitive comment where he was talking about a LGBTQ protest, or people were protesting some school board, and he said the statement, "They should leave little children alone. That's the real issue." Basically saying that that shouldn't be in schools. And they pulled his skin and kind of banned him in a way. And so another streamer, Tim the Tatman, he asked to be removed basically in solidarity with Nickmercs. And so now it's a big thing. A lot of people are boycotting, talking about never playing the game again. And I mean, I've never played it. I'm not a big Call of Duty guy, but I know there's a huge following behind it. And it's kind of crazy that, they're getting involved in this whole, woke culture, I guess you could say. I know Mitch hates that phrase, but
I do hate that phrase. And I'll say this, a couple things. Again, we talked about this kind of similarities a couple shows ago with the Budweiser and maybe even Target.
Right.
I mean, and the thing I kept saying was, if this is really about business, and again, I just want people to think. You can say I'm wrong, you can say I'm stupid, you can cuss me out. I don't care. I'm already flipping you off. But just think for a second. If this is about business, which people are so greedy in this country.
Greedy.
Exactly. But when it comes to their business, when it comes to their bottom line, when it comes to their dollar, I mean, we live in a world where people will have a 70-year-old work at that job and pay them the most minimal, amount of money, not worry about it, even though they make, billions of dollars, and not, try and get people raises, not try and get them a better quality of life. Go, we can always replace you. We can always replace you. That's what this all is. But yet when it comes to their bottom dollar, they're going to lose money knowingly now to stand behind something that they don't have to stand behind. I'm not saying right, wrong, and different, but it's very interesting. We're talking business and people that make money off of business and hustle. And they're going to sit there and go, this is what I'm going to choose to, I mean, it's not like we're saying, basically they decided to go, okay, we're going to pull this guy because he said, leave the kids alone. That's insanity to me. That's insanity to me. And you're getting a backlash just because of the other situations that have happened. I mean, do you have enough of that market? And I'm just saying that, again, no disrespect to any of this. This is all debate. But are most of your players, LGBT players,
Right.
that play your video game? If they are, okay, so be it.
Right.
If they're not, why are you diving into this? Why are you diving into this when again, and then making these moves? It's one thing to donate and support, whatever, so be it. But it's another thing to go, we're gonna go ahead and pull this guy because he said leave our children alone in a forum. You know what I mean? Like the censorship and what they're looking out for right now is
And for a game that is children can't even play.
Well, that's the craziest part about it. The irony of this whole thing is we're talking about a game where kids do play, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even though kids play, if they get on and play, teens or whatever, and they're playing this this mass killing game in an era with school shooters.
Right.
In an era of school shooters, and it's like, it's crazy. And then we say the guns are the problem. And we say mental health's the problem, but not the mental health of the parents who buy these kids the games.
Maybe I was part of the problem. I don't know. When my kids were small, we play Call of Duty all day.
No.
That was
I get it.
I mean that was our thing. It was kind of like a bonding thing between me and my son. As we go in there, play Call of Duty with him, my former brother-in-law. We all get on there and play this game. I mean, it's a violent game.
So we used to see Alex over there at your house all day on the couch just playing either that or Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
I do believe, and don't get me wrong, we don't know better sometimes, and I'm not making excuses for it, but you also have the parenting of the whole situation also does count, I mean, obviously your son's turned out to be a fine gentleman, fine young man.
Right.
But I don't think that everybody has the same parenting, the same upbringings, the same other values. So you let this kid go play these games, you don't even supervise them, you're not even playing with them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he thinks he's really in the world and he's got 10 lives. And he can reload and go out and do stuff. I mean, it's almost no different than typing on the internet. People really do believe like what they type until somebody in person smacks them in the mouth.
Right.
I just think that and again, I'll say I was a hypocrite because I grew up on rap music and I'm sitting there listening to NWA and all this other stuff and I'll tell you, it changed my mood.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, it definitely changed my mood. Heck, Too Short changed, my relationships. I'm just saying, movies, it affects you, and until you become, an adult, and you.
So were you impressionable as a kid?
Huh?
Were you very impressionable as a kid?
Yes, especially as an only child.
Okay.
And especially as a latchkey kid eventually.
Right.
Yes, very impressionable.
I got you. So I mean, great topic is you brought up that you were a latchkey kid.
Mm-hmm.
I was, but I didn't feel like.
I didn't feel like I was missing anything.
Yeah, but I didn't feel I was impressionable. I mean, I grew up playing, Atari, Nintendo, stuff like that.
That's because those games were like so basic.
But you had Duck Hunter. Yeah, Duck Hunter and stuff like that. But I don't feel like None of that. I mean, I played football since I was 7 years old. I mean, which is one of the most violent sports, out there. And I don't think it made me a violent person. I think maybe you'd have to be.
I mean, I think it's one thing to say for physicality compared to violence.
Right.
I mean, and sometimes, well, here's the thing. Also,
So are you saying Call of Duty kind of numbs kids out to
First of all,
violence?
Call of Duty doesn't have coaches. It doesn't have coaches. It doesn't have shake hands after you kill the people. I think it's a getaway for people, and it can be its own world. Video games are very, in my opinion, I'm not knocking them, but let's take them for what they are. It's very, I mean, the mental, I mean, it's no different than the mental aspects on these phones. The adrenaline hits, the dopamines, all this different stuff has effects on people.
Right.
I mean, we're just starting now to get a lot of this information. I remember, I think I made this statement about 8-10 years ago, and people just wanted to bury me on Facebook. Oh, you're crazy, blah, 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 blah. Going crazy, like angry, because they love that shit. Now, half of those people might even think differently, but it takes time for that to slide over.
Gotcha.
I mean, and hopefully the people that are saying, take away the guns in school shootings are at least open-minded to this shit,
Well, I just think it's weird that, like, in schools, they took religion out of schools because some people may not agree with the religion that whatever maybe it's Catholic, maybe it's Christian, maybe it's Jewish, whatever it is. So they take the religion out of schools because it could offend people. But then when it comes to things like, Pride Month, that's okay. But it obviously does offend some people, right or wrong. But they're going to allow that. But they don't allow religion because that could offend people. Yeah, it's the reverse. We're going to allow this, but we're not going to allow that. It's hypocritical. And I don't care, like, straight, gay, any of that stuff doesn't matter to me. You're either like you're a good person or you're a bad person. Like, we get along or we don't get along. It has nothing to do with what you do in your personal time. That doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect. I don't give a shit. What people do in their own home is their own business. As long as it's not hurting me or anybody else, I don't care. But it's like you want to be high and mighty in one sense and say, oh, we got to protect other people, other religions, but you're not going to protect people that maybe disagree with other stances.
Or protect people when you're trying to force a shot on people too.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, they're not, you're not protecting people's beliefs at that point.
Right.
Can I ask you a question, Miss? Do you think people are starting to finally realize that the jab wasn't all it's cracked up to be, and now there may be some negative effects to it, or you think there's still a majority of people that are standing?
I'll tell you what, I think it's the 9/11 effect. I think there's people that sit there and go, I know our government had something to do with it, but I still talk about SEAL Team 6 taking out bin Laden.
Yeah.
I think they've figured out how to warp our heads to where we talk about a subject, and we'll talk about it. Kind of like if I say a game's fixed in hoop, I'll still talk about the stats. Right. I mean, I get it. I do it too.
I mean, you justify. You justify it in your mind.
Without a doubt, and especially on your stance. If you took the stance back in the day, you're probably. I mean, here's the thing. In a room by yourself, you're probably tripping. Like, I hope this. I hope my kid doesn't get this. I hope this. I pray that But out there, you're upset at the people. You're not even checking yourself. You're upset at the other people. And that's the effed up part. And somehow I think they knew that that's how this rolls. I think they've done enough surveys. We've been rats in a cage chasing the cheese for so long that they know that this is how it's going to roll and this is going to continue to divide.
Right.
It's never, man. I remember when I thought, my bad. Like, I'm now concerned about this. No, it's you said this. I said this. I went all in. So I'm not going to forgive you because it didn't go the way I wanted it to.
Right. It's all. I mean, it goes back. It's all about division.
Of course.
I think that's the bottom line. Is like that's the problem in this world right now. Is we're just so divided, man.
Of course.
We've got so far apart from each other. We need to come back to this, but. Let's talk about a little lighter note. The NBA Finals here, man. Denver Nuggets. I have to give it up for the Denver Nuggets.
And you know what? I just realized we went heavy for a minute.
I know. I apologize for folks. Sometimes we get off on these tangents and we feel strongly.
We are very passionate about it, and
exactly. So you probably see that come out. But let's talk about the Nuggets, man. Djokovic, Finals MVP. Murray, like, I think you said it when they were playing the Suns. You said this is a different Nuggets team than last year.
Definitely not Suns in four.
Before Nuggets.
And you finally had a healthy Murray. I've always Nick. Remember we were talking the draft. You were a Buddy Hield guy. I'm on Murray.
Yeah.
I think Murray. I mean, he's that good number. Here's the craziest part. He's an amazing number two, but he's not the typical number two. If you look at all these teams and they always go, you need 3 players or whatever else. He's like one of the lighter number twos to win a title. I mean, maybe Dirk's carried one without, but like there's not too many other, number twos. And he's a great, but here's the thing, it goes to show you the teamwork. It goes to show you, how they play with each other, and it goes to show you just what a leader Jokic is,
Yeah.
Yep.
But what I was impressed by him with in the final series, different with the semifinal series, is he did it in a different way.
Yep.
He didn't have to be that scorer, and he was more the assist man, and kind of let the rest of the team, facilitate to Jokic, to Caldwell Pope. I mean, a man, U of A grad. I got to give it up to Aaron Gordon. Way to bring another title back down to U of A too, baby. How many Scum Devils ever won a title? I'm still thinking about it. But anyway.
Well, don't think too hard. I know the U of A math ain't that great.
Oh, there you go. Shots fired.
Hey, shots fired.
Shots fired.
1, 2, 7.
I just know we have more than the Scum Devils. But, like I said, I was impressed by his performance. I know Jokic was MVP, but I was more impressed by his performance, the way he did it, the way he changed his game to be able to fit the circumstances. Definitely.
No. Well, let me say this too. I mean, they have an amazing team. Some people. I'll say 2 things. One, they remind me of the late '90s, early 2000s semi-dynasty Spurs team.
Really?
Almost
Wow.
almost to a T. You got Tim Duncan. You got Jokic.
Okay.
And then you got of course the other players on the Spurs were Tony Parker and Ginobili.
Gotcha.
Which kind of
Kind of reminded you of Murray?
Yeah, kind of Murray.
Yep.
And then, of course, you got Michael Porter and you got Gordon. And
Yep.
the crazy thing is those guys are all young. They're all, 25, 26 to 28?
Right.
And they're all signed to long-term contracts.
Gotcha.
I mean, and, they're definitely got something going. They remind me of that Spurs dynasty. I wouldn't surprise me if they win a few. And Jokic goes down again, I hate this, like, top 10 players, because when you keep saying everybody's a top 10, then who gets out of the top 10? You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of great players.
Okay, let me ask you this. I'm just playing a little devil's advocate. Kyrie goes to the Lakers. LeBron comes back. How's that change the West? I mean, and here's another thing. You give Kevin Durant a full offseason to gel with his team. How's that change it?
I mean, it just depends on who else they get. I think the Suns need to get the right players, and I think Denver proved this. I mean, Bruce Brown was a huge piece,
Right.
Huge piece. Caldwell Pope was a huge piece. Even the one point guard, the white dude, I can't even think of his name right now, and I apologize. Right. But he was benched from last series, but he came in a couple finals games, scored 13 points, 15 points. He did his job. Those pieces are as important or more important when everybody has stars. They're more important when everybody has stars. And that's something the Suns just didn't have. They didn't have the consistency from that. You could tell they were searching to try and find a lineup to see anybody spark.
They didn't have the shooters.
Yeah.
Other than the top 2 scorers.
Yeah.
That's the difference, I think, with the Nuggets is
Yeah.
you had Jokic inside, and then you had 4 guys on the outside that could all shoot.
Yeah.
So he'd get the ball inside. If they doubled or triple teamed him, he had 2 or 3 wide open guys, and they were hitting, 1 out of every 3 threes
But
or
not only
2
that,
out of every
too,
3 threes.
the physicality of that team. Nobody
Yeah.
was out rebounding, not in the series. Maybe a couple games they got him. But you had Jokic, you had Gordon who leaps out the gym. You have Porter who's like 6'10". I mean,
Jokic had a 30-20-10 triple-double in the finals. In the same game, Murray had a 30-10-10 triple-double. The first time, I think, 2 players on the same team had a triple-double in the NBA Finals, I think they said.
here's crazy. Jokic's 28 years old. He's got a Finals MVP. He's got a Finals, and he's got 2 MVPs right now.
Right.
And he could have had a third this year.
Yeah, and he probably should have, if other than two big point games for Embiid. It's going to be interesting. But one thing I will say, people are like, oh, are they going to win next year? They're going to go back to backs. I'm just going to state this right now that it's kind of like the steroid era. I call this the sports betting era. So 2 years ago when you could bet on your phones, I'm telling you right now, mark my words, we'll look back on 10 years, but dynasties are going to be very hard to go back-to-backs and definitely to go, a three-peat,
I mean,
Yeah, they'll probably win like
Yeah.
3 out of the next 5 with an off year in between.
I mean, because I'll tell you what.
I mean, sports betting's not going away.
No,
It's only gonna get- it's only gonna
exactly,
get bigger.
exactly. So the phone calls in for the extras are going to be continuing. We're going to see dumber and dumber shit, in my opinion, truthfully, because there's just too much money, and that's not going away.
Right.
Ain't that right, Nick?
Hey, I just hit a big bet tonight, so I'm happy.
Exactly.
The greedy name lives on.
Lives on, baby. Definitely. I love it. I love it. Speaking of nuggets,
Oh, yes. Chicken. Woo. Hey, they just opened another one. They had a couple out here, but I actually went to this place once in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Banging in Little
years
Rock?
ago. Yes. Gus's world famous chicken.
Give it up for Gus's.
Gus's world famous chicken. I will tell you, it is delicious.
so is it another hot chicken spot?
No, it's a fried chicken spot.
Okay.
They do like southern home cooking. So they do like they have fried pickles, they have fried okra on the appetizers. They do like the baked beans or
have
the
okra?
potato salad.
Oprah's there?
Oh, the mac and cheese was really good. So they just opened another. They have 2 or 3 locations now. They just opened a 4th out here, kind of close to where I work. And went in there today. They're kind of in their soft opening right now.
Pause.
The chicken was amazing. I got the chicken strips. 4. I was like, normally I'm like, 3 strips, 4 strips. I was like,
We all strip.
yeah. I was like, I'll get the 4 because 3 is usually not enough. I could barely finish 3. They're big, juicy, crispy on the outside, juicy chicken on the inside, white meat chicken, flavored awesomely. They have like
Why's it got to be white meat?
they're just amazing, and with the seasoning on them and the way they were fried, they were great. And
So they got any locations in East Valley?
so they do have one in Mesa.
In downtown Mesa.
Downtown
That was the
Mesa.
first one they brought
And then
out.
the one they just opened is in Ahwatukee.
Okay.
And then they got, I think, one on the west side somewhere and maybe one in Phoenix somewhere. But they're all over the South. Like I said, I went to one in Little Rock. I think they're from Memphis, I want to say.
I went to one in Chicago. Right downtown Chicago, right by the clubs on a Sunday fun day. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
So
And
chicken's awesome. And I just want to say, yeah, they definitely kept the consistency and the quality, as they've expanded. So, a lot of times once you start growing, you start losing that quality. It's not the same as like the originals. This place was just as good as I remember it when I had it many years ago back in Little Rock. So
Okay.
And
definitely recommend going there.
let me add to this too, because my first experience with Gus's world famous chicken was in Chicago. I actually thought it was from Chicago because I'm in Chicago and I'm at some Sunday fun day or whatever, and I'm like, oh shit, it's right across the street from the clubs, So I'm like, let me go get some world famous chicken, thinking it's from Chicago, but it's from someplace else. But man, it was banging. I even think it's better than the spot that everybody from Chicago loves, which is Harold's.
Okay. Wow.
So definitely, I think it's amazing. I think both just the chicken itself and the tenders are both banging.
And the seasoning that they put on there, it has a little heat to it, a little spice to
Oh, yeah,
it.
amazing.
It's not just flavorless chicken. It's very flavorful.
Okay. I'm going to go check this out for sure.
And then since we're talking about chicken, I'm gonna go budget friendly actually because I actually went to Popeyes the other day, and they actually have a blackened chicken sandwich,
Okay.
and it's actually not fried. It's actually it's just it's just got the seasonings on top of the skin.
Okay.
So it's in my opinion it's trying to go head up with the number 1 at Chick-fil-A.
Really?
Chick-fil-A sandwich, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. It's that good because I love Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah.
I love
So who do you think won the chicken wars back in the day? Was it the Popeye sandwich or the Chick-fil-A sandwich?
I wasn't a big fan of the Popeye sandwich. I know it was a big craze back then, but it wasn't as good as Chick-fil-A. I thought, to me, Chick-fil-A has the best chicken sandwich out there. So.
I will say this: when that whole craze came out, I noticed that the fillets of chicken that they had on the Chick-fil-A sandwich like tripled in size.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And then now that the war's over, they're back down to their little chicken breast. Come on, Chick-fil-A, step it back up, get those big breasts going again.
Especially you got to wait.
Open up on Sunday too.
Especially if you got to wait a half hour for the line, the drive-throughs.
I love me some big breasts.
But
Oh, pause.
but I'll say the blackened chicken sandwich. It's $4.99 right now, and you can do it spicy or original. I like the original. I was asking a couple of cats, get the original. But amazing sandwich. Only 550 calories, too.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so for lunch, I'll just pull 2 of those with no fries or whatever, just,
Okay.
I mean, you're not eating healthy. You're going to have a ton of sodium, but I'll tell you, it's not a bad if you're jammed for fast food, $11, 2 chicken sandwiches. It's amazing to me. I actually think it gets, I don't want to go out there, but I'm going to say it gets Chick-fil-A's sandwich, in my opinion.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Blackened, non-spicy.
Here's my thing. I got to admit, I don't eat other folks' chicken other than my mom's. As you guys can.
Oh, yeah, no. I think we talked about this before. Your mom gets down. Yeah.
She has the best chicken I've tasted in my life. So it's hard for me to go out there and eat other folks' chicken. I do like eating at Lolo's though every once in a while out here. For a while it was going back and forth between them and Mrs. White, but Lolo's to me definitely are doing their thing. I do think they need to improve the one in Gilbert.
I don't even mess with the Gilbert one.
Yeah, so
I didn't mess with the Gilbert.
if you guys are out there listening, step your game up. But all the other locations, actually, the one in Scottsdale is really good. Shout out to Lolo's.
I'm still a Roscoe's boy myself.
Yeah, I mean Roscoe's is dope, but
you got to support the home team too. Yeah. So I always support Lolo's since day one. Lolo's, not only Lolo's, but it's Monroe's Chicken too. Although there is another good hot chicken.
Was it you or Ken that took me to Lolo's first?
Me, of course.
It was you.
I think I took Ken to Lolo's first too.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm like, you can get the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Well, you had the sweet tea, so that's why I
Yep.
loved about it.
Yep.
So,
Sweet tea.
but
I used to, when I first got there, in my younger days, I'd have the chicken and waffles and the Kool-Aid, and then you go get refills of Kool-Aid. So you're like 3 refills in. You start getting a couple years older, man. You feel like a crackhead, like with that Kool-Aid, grape or red.
with all that sugar.
First of all, is red a flavor for Kool-Aid? I learned it from the house party days.
When I was growing up, red was a flavor.
What about purple? Purple drink, is that a
Purple
flavor?
definitely a flavor too.
Hey, what kind of Kool-Aid you want? Grape or red?
Grape and red, baby.
Red.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, we've come to that part of the show. Thought of the day. I normally start with Greedy, but I'm going to shoot it to Mitchell.
Okay, so my thought of the day. I'm just going to say this. First of all, I want to say thanks again for all the support. It's been amazing. It's been amazing the support we've gotten.
Yeah, shout out to all the fans.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Thank you.
It's not even fans, it's the people that's on the ride with us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, because when Paul originally, approached me about this idea, I thought about it for a second, and I was like quizzing him back, going, okay, what are we doing it for? I like it, but what are we doing it for? What's this? I started doing homework, and it's like, all these podcasts, and, one thing that encouraged me, 52% of America listens to podcasts right now, So that was awesome. The other side was, it seemed like to me, everybody's got a podcast, So what's going to separate us? What's going to be special? What are we going to do? And when I thought that we could do something to put a product out that would be different, that'd be special, that would be, and again, you got to believe in yourself before others will, right? Mm-hmm. So, and then I was like, we got to get Nick on board or whatever, get him a Greedy hat, and but no. So, and it's crazy to see whatever the vision was, whatever you thought to whatever, when we talked to whatever, when we all got together and we planned this, and we put a lot of time in it. People, whether or not, we don't just come up here and wing it. We put a lot of time and prep into this to make, to try and give it our best. We enjoy doing it though. We enjoy each other's company. It's amazing. Like, it's the new way of kind of hanging with your boys, but also being serious about stuff.
Exactly.
And so to put this together, to get the feedback we're getting, considering we're doing it organically, we haven't paid a penny in ads. Mm-hmm. We're trying to just, see where this goes, see how it builds, see how it grows, and then we'll figure it out, on the business side of it. But until then, heck, we haven't even put the website up yet. So just to let you know, we got a long ways to go. Right. But again, it's so amazing to see the support we're getting, And it's also, and one, I wanted to say this. First of all, I want to thank somebody that was watching the show the other day. I mean, there's so many people. But one of my boys, my Chamorro partner from back home, John D. Guzman, from Rancho, he was like, hey, Mitch, man, watch the show. It's great. Hey, shout me out, bro. So, shout out to John, man. And I got yeah, definitely. And got a ton of shout outs, we can't do it justice. So many people riding for us, but when you decide to do something, or actually even take it a step back, you think about what you want to do, find something you have a passion for, give it a shot. Make sure, sit down, soul search and go, okay, can I do this? Or challenge yourself out of your comfort zone. I remember one time you go out of your comfort zone to travel or whatever.
Exactly.
Go out of your comfort zone to try and accomplish something. Mm-hmm. What's the worst that can happen? I think all the people here, we don't care about what people think to a to a degree. Like, and again, but we do love the fact, that you like the show and that you're supporting it, but give it a shot. I think we're proof that, you can find some level of success. Even if only a couple people were tuning in, I mean, you got to start someplace. You got to build. You got to grow. And the fact we enjoy what we do. So if you enjoy what you do, and you have a vision, use what we're trying to do, what we're trying to build, and use that as motivation. And I just want to say this too. You'll find it, and here's the other part that's very interesting. You'll find that again, the people that come along on the journey. Sometimes it's people I don't even know, or it's people I barely know, and it's interesting the amount of love and support they give you. You want to embrace that. Make sure you show out for them. And the other part that's interesting is you find it very surprising that there's certain people that and again, this is no hate. This is just what it is. I'm just speaking from the heart and being honest. It's interesting. You have certain people that you would think would say something about something you're trying to do, and they just kind of sit back in the cut.
Yeah.
And it's like just interesting, and it is what it is. But it's like if they see how important it is to you, it's like I don't know, you'd expect to see a little bit more from that. But that's fine. You can't expect somebody to be at a certain pace. But it's just very interesting observations. It also makes you wonder if you were at the top of the poll and you were Joe Rogan status, which I know is a daydream. But hey, I'm not going to ever say it's not possible. Would they be right there trying to call you for tickets? Or would they be right there going, hey, I'm your day ones, and I'm this and this? Right. It's just very interesting, so something to think about. But either way, I just want to hope that we, keep putting out the best products we can, love everybody, and thank you for the support, and use this as motivation to whatever you're trying to tackle. Give it a shot. I'm glad we did. It's been one of the best decisions, and it's something I look forward to. So, thank you.
There you go. Grady, what you got, man?
So I just want to say, too, family is a big support, and I want to thank my couple cousins, cousin Lou and cousin Eddie, for checking out the show, watching it, giving feedback. Family is important to me, so it's always good to see when even the family, they may not be interested in everything we talk about or whatever, but they still support, they listen, and they give positive feedback, and so I appreciate that. But
thank you, cousin Lou and cousin Eddie.
Yeah, and if any of you guys saw the YouTube short or the video that was on Instagram or TikTok from former NBA ref Tim Donaghy, he took a little jab at me and my gambling skills. So my thought of the day is, I may win some, I may lose some, but I didn't have to cheat to do it. So, yeah, Tim.
Shots fired, baby.
You don't need to be cheating anymore, and you got caught too, so I don't get caught. Paul, what's up?
I think we need to change that hat to Cheaty Nick or Needy Nick.
Yeah. Last one, I just want to say, we debating on the show, and I hope we're an example of, we have a healthy debate, and I think, right now, especially in America right now, we talk about division, and it's like if you don't agree with me, I don't like you, and we got to get back to being able to talk to each other and understand that it's okay to disagree with each other. You know what I'm saying? And hear a different point of view of what people are talking about, and not be upset about it. It just what it is. We're all built differently, and we don't all agree on things, and we need to all start to grow up and be adults about it and be able to talk to each other. Instead of saying, calling, people racist or, fascist or whatever it may be, like I said, listen to a different point of view. It may change your mind on something. They may give you a different point of view that you never thought about. But on that note, we are out of here. Love you. See you next week, baby.
Appreciate you.